What it do, my good people? It's your boy, the notorious D.O. to the C, aka Marco Kane. Yeah, I'm doing it again by myself, but it's all good. He'll be back one day. When? Who knows? But he will be back. But shout out to my boy, the infamous DJ Mad. Hey, miss you, bro. Miss you. But we'll catch up soon. Well, uh, you know, I had a whole bunch of topics that I wanted to talk about. Uh, quite sure a lot of y'all heard this past Wednesday, Charlie Kirk was assassinated. I said I was going to dwell on that, but you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to dwell on it is the. I'm not going to say the things that led up to what happened, but just the whole roundabout circumstance of what transpired. Now, I didn't know Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk didn't know me. I first heard about Charlie Kirk maybe about a year or so ago, maybe 2 years ago. I'm not sure. It just popped up on one of my YouTube feeds, and I was listening to him. He was at some college campus talking to some of those kids, and some of the stuff came out. I was like, I don't know about this dude. But then as more and more stuff started popping up on my feed, I was like, dude, kind of that way. But he's got his own opinion. He's got a right to it. It's freedom of speech. What I'm doing now. So he can say and do whatever he wants to do. As long as he don't put his hands on anybody or do anything violence, promote violence. And from what I saw, I didn't really think that he was doing all of that. But he was at a lot of these college campuses with these young minds where they're so impressionable. And the way today's society is, uh, people want something to cling on to, something to follow behind. They want a leader. So with that being said, he had every right to his opinions, his thoughts, whatever. Those were his and his. Now, for somebody to murder him, that was wrong. You know, that's what a debate is. A debate is an argument to get your point across, to get my point across. And I ain't gonna say the best point that comes across wins, but you agree to disagree. And I've had debates with people, and you leave. If they get the best better of you, they did their homework, and that's what Charlie Kirk did. That I will take my hat off to you. I tip my hat to you, sir. May you rest in peace. But you did your research. That's how you was able to get over on some of those college kids, you know. And as far as he kept saying that he didn't go attend college. Okay, a lot of people didn't attend college. I myself did attend college, but for the better or for the worse, I did go. I know lots of people that attended college. Some of them are doing exactly what they went to college for. Some are not. So, like I say, with that being said, it is what it is. But he would goat you into getting off your game, whatever. I mean, because I heard him talking about, you know, the transgender people. He talked about African American people, about how most of the people that are in prison are African American. Now, I'm going to call bullshit on that, and I don't have the records of the statistics in front of me, but I'm gonna call bullshit on that because I don't know if he ever actually went into a prison. It's more white people in prison, more Hispanics in prison than it is black people. Uh, you go there, and yes, I have not. I've not personally went into a prison, but I did go visit a couple of people there, and you can look and tell who's the most in there and who's not. So, with that being said, my point is, like I said, I'm not here to bash Charlie Kirk. Like I said, I didn't know the man. He didn't know me. But what I am here to say or talk about is we got to stop this violence. Just because somebody don't agree with what you said, or somebody doesn't like the way you look, or somebody don't like the color of your damn eyes or the outfits you got on. or the way you sing a song, or the way you prepare food or whatnot. We got to get along, folks, or we're not gonna make it as a species. I mean, it's sad that you can't go do a platform, say what you have to say, get your grievances out, your judgmental out, whatever the case is, and go home or have a good conversation. Like I say, cigars. I'm gonna just bring that up real quick. Cigars. I've been to cigar shops and got into conversations with some of the gentlemen there, white, black, Hispanic, Asian, what you name it, it's in there. And whether we agreed on the subject at hand or we disagreed with the subject on hand, or whether it felt like the conversations were getting heated. After the smoke settled down, we all shook each other's hand, dapped it up, and we couldn't finish talking and laughing and giggling and having a drink or whatnot. And that's what it's all about. It's about sitting down at the table and talking. Now, as far as this other stuff I heard about Charlie Kirk, I have no earthly idea. Was he a white supremacist, or he hated this or he hated that? But if you see some of the videos, the truth is in the pudding, as they say. Some of the things that came out of Charlie Kirk's mouth hinted on him being a racist. Now, like I say, if he was, he was. That's his right. That's it. That's what he wanted to do, or that's what he wanted to be. Then hey, so be it. But don't make it out to where he was the great savior, as a lot of people are saying. And he was a bad guy. Like I say, I didn't know him. Didn't agree on some of the things that he said, but that's his right. That's his opinion, as it is everybody in the world. You got a right to say what you want to say. You got a right to do what you want to do to a certain extent. As long as it's not illegal, you're killing anybody, or blah blah blah. Now, they kind of caught the dude pretty quick. 22-year-old making a shot like that, 200 yards, over 200 yards, allegedly over 200 yards. You know, there was this president that we used to have in Dallas that, I'm getting at. Could be a setup. It's a bunch of stuff, just conspiracy theories that's going on that's popping up all over the internet. Well, I think it was one of his security team was giving some hand signals, and they was like, "That's the signal to shoot." Now, I ain't in the military, so I couldn't tell you, but to my military people out there, hit, comment, and subscribe. Let me know. But the whole thing boils down to it. At the end of the day, a human being is dead. As these young folks say, they unalived him. He's dead. He leaves behind a wife, kid, people that cared for him, family, friends. They'll never see him again. And, that's the messed up part about it. Is that somebody took somebody's life over their opinion, just speaking about something. And he was down, I think, if I can remember correctly, my tablet is out of reach right now, but he was speaking about gun violence, I believe, when he got shot. And that's what I said, nowadays, you really can't say too much, do too much, because there's too many crazies. That's what I call them. They crack it up every morning. And I thank God for waking me up. And I said a few other words, it's Monday, Tuesday, whatever, before I get ready to go out to my job. And at the end of it, I always say, y'all be careful out there because the crazies are still lurking. You got some crazy ass people out there for whatever reason, whether it's mental, drugs, or you just plain just mad at everybody. They crazy as shit, and they don't mean any good for you. They want to put harm to you for something simple as the color of your car, or your loud vehicle, or whatever, something that they don't like. Why don't you just, if you got a loud vehicle or whatever, I'm just using that example, and when you crank up in the mornings and you disturbing your neighbor just say, man, when you crank up in the morning, man, can you just go ahead and go, or can you make it quieter, or whatever the case is? I mean, on that one, it's kind of in, because vehicles is vehicles, but y'all get what I'm trying to say. Just ding dong. Hey, neighbor, can I talk to you for a quick? I ain't complaining. I ain't getting mad or nothing. But let's figure something out. And then you go from there. If you say, hey, man, I ain't nothing I can do, then ain't nothing you can do. Then, the neighbor might have to figure something else out. But, like I said, in my opinion, Charlie Kirk shouldn't have got shot for it. You just needed somebody else with more gumption to go back and debate him, to put him in his place. And that's it. And from what I've seen on YouTube and whatnot, there were a couple of people that did get him. I can't think of the one guy. He never did want to debate him. They did debate, and Charlie lost like a couple of times. But I'm sorry, I'm thirsty, and this is good. Homemade mocha, chocolate, frappe, whatever you want to call it now. But yeah, he didn't always win. Like I said, looking at Charlie Kirk on some of the YouTube videos that I have seen, he was well prepared. That, like I said, I would give him that. And he used to tell some of those college kids, which is true, pick up a book, read, learn before you speak. And you do that, you got it. You over halfway down. Because knowledge is power. I don't care what anybody says. The more knowledge you know, the more powerful you are. The man behind the man is the one who knows everything, but the man behind that man, he knows all. So, yeah, pick up a book, y'all, and, be kind to one another. You don't have to put up your dukes and fight all the time. You don't have to pull guns on each other all the time, knives, whatever the case. Leave that shit alone. Talk. Separate and talk. It used to be like me back in the days. If I got into it with somebody, I'm talking about when I was younger, we used to have a fist fight. And believe this or not, we used to have a fight, and right after the fight, 2 minutes later, we shaking hands and we good. Like, you okay? Yeah, I'm good. You okay? Yeah, I'm good. And then you continue on with your day. But nowadays, these young people, they quick to anger, quick to want to fight, quick to want to pull a weapon out. And when you pull a weapon out, 99% of the time, one of you two are not going home. Or one is going home one is going in a body bag, and the other one is going off in some silver bracelets to sit behind a cell. So think before you speak. And just cool it down. You don't have to argue. We don't have to fight. We can just sit and talk. Have a discussion. It's called a debate, people. That's what Charlie was doing. He was debating. But he was a smart debater. He was a cunning debater. He was a skillful debater. I give him all of that. Like I said, I'm not here to bash the man, not by any means. But in the end, he lost his life over words. Words that could have been chosen better, words could have been said better. But he chose not to do that. He chose to say and do how he wanted to do it. And like I said, that was his choice, his right. And as he said, he would die, you know, to defend the Constitution. But you know, like like what he said about public executions, they should be televised, and you can have sponsorships. Coca-Cola come in and sponsor. Come on, man. Nobody really wants to see somebody publicly executed. I mean, we're not back in the medieval days where shit like that was cool, kosher. That's why they don't do it anymore. That's why executions are not public. And then I was watching one where he was at some campus, and he was talking to a young white girl, and they were talking about public housing, and he was saying that there's public housing, Section 8 housing for everybody. That is not 100% true. Some people cannot get public housing, and for whatever reason, some people can't get it because shit happens. Okay, some people work, have a decent job, making decent money, but it's just not enough to take care of everything. And sometimes shit happens. You lose your house for whatever case the reason. House could burn down. Boom, it's gone. Now what you gonna do? You can file for public housing. They're gonna turn your ass down because you make money. Now, me personally, I've never been a recipient of public housing. Don't know anything about it. I know a couple of people that have. I'm not gonna call no names, call nobody out. But at the time, yeah, they did need it. I saw that they needed it, and I saw what public housing was. So it has its good points and it has its drawback points because most of the public housing that I've seen or that I've been in is horrible. The place is about to fall down. It's not a place to raise nobody, no family, nothing like that. But if public housing was standard, up to date, clean, no riffraff, nothing like that, and you could stay there, let's say 2 years, maybe 3 years, 5 years max. That would be me, 5 years max. If you can't get your shit together in 5 years, then you ain't gonna never get your shit together. You feel me? But for him to say that it was public housing for everybody, that's not true. And then there was one where he also said that if he got on a plane and he found out it was a black pilot, he would hope that the pilot is competent enough. Okay, that's a racist statement because white people don't crash planes more than anybody. Because from what I've been reading about it, it ain't too many black pilots out there. It's enough, but it ain't too many black pilots out there flying for any airlines. So bullshit. So yeah, for him to make a statement like that, yeah, that's a straight up racist statement. But anywho, like I said, this wasn't really about bashing anybody. My condolences to the Kirk family. I pray that y'all get through this, and you'll see him again. As I say, death is only the beginning. And to the people out there that love Charlie Kirk, Do y'all's research. Start reading. And the people out there that hated Charlie Kirk, same thing. Do your research. Start reading. And one last thing before I let everybody go, or let it go. Let's come to as people. Cause I don't give a fuck if you're white, black, green, red, orange, Chinese. You can be turquoise for all I care. If I cut your ass open, your blood, it's the same red blood that's flowing through these veins right here. No matter what you say, everybody's blood is red. Different shades of red, but it's red. It's blood is blood. So we all are human beings. Let's all come together, get along, and don't let one person tell you otherwise. That shit there, hate and racism and all that, that is taught. You don't just come out the womb saying that you hate a person because the color of their skin, the texture of their hair, the way they dress, the way they move, the way this, the way that. That is taught. You have to learn how to be a racist. Yeah, it is what it is. That being said, y'all comment, like, and subscribe. It helps the channel out. And we will see you next time on the Dirty Ashtray. Live long and prosper. Peace and prayers. Peace.